Welcome back. Welcome back to day 3 of the Manifest 22 challenge. Today is the last day that we'll be meeting on Facebook. But for those of you who want to continue the journey, we're going to be migrating over to my private community called Enchanted Empath. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But first, I want to get into the topic for today. And then I want to check in with you guys with regards to your homework, how you've been doing over the last couple of days, what's come up for you. So I'd like to check in with you today. Today's topic is allowing, the art of allowing / receiving. So if you think of the steps of manifesting in the law of attraction, it's ask, align, and allow, or the old way of ask, believe, and receive. So I like the upgraded verbiage that I've chosen because it feels more specific and more accurate to the process and what we need to do and who we need to become in order to manifest all of our dreams, goals, and desires for 2022. So today we're going to talk a lot about allowing. There's a lot more to allowing than you think, so stay tuned. I did put a link in the Facebook group for you to take my receptivity quiz just to see how you did with that little simple quiz, because a lot of people think that they're very receptive, but I know that we're not as receptive as we think we are. So we're going to explore that, and then we're going to explore the blockages that are common with manifesting, what keeps us unreceptive and blocked, and then we're going to talk about the number one way to cure that, the number one tool that we could use on the daily that basically obliterates that and opens us up wide. So you want to stay tuned to hear what that big tool is. And of course, in the community, we're going to talk about a lot of different tools, but for the sake of time here today, we're going to talk about the number one because it's a big one. It's major. All right. So over the last couple of days, you guys had some homework. And one of them was to maybe feng shui a space, to clean up a space. And that is all about making room for your manifestations. It's all about creating the space for energy to move. So becoming a channel. We do that in our bodies, we do that in our space, we do it everywhere if we're aware, right? And so feng shuiing or creating an energy, making it nice energetically in your home or in your living space, your favorite living space, is important because that's where you hang out. And so the energy is going to get all over you. You're going to get all over it. So just like a shower for our physical hygiene, we energetically move our furniture around. We clean the clutter. We clean out our closets. We do the spring cleaning, all of that. But for this homework assignment, it was just to simply clean out a space, maybe your desk, maybe your junk drawer, maybe your linen closet. And in doing that, really opens you up and it shifts the energy. I mean, how many times have you taken on a cleaning job or a decluttering job, maybe your garage, and then afterwards just feeling completely satisfied with that? And you can feel the energetic shift from clutter, baggage, old stuff to new spaces for new things to happen and new things to occur, So part of the reason I have you do that is because another law of the universe, and you guys know I'm totally obsessed with the laws of the universe, is what I call the vacuum law. And the vacuum law says that wherever there is a space, it will be filled. And so, but if that space is already filled with something else, then you don't have the space or the capacity for the new thing to come. It's like you'll get a Passover. And we don't want a Passover in this circumstance. We want to be able to create a space for the things that we want to land. They have to have a place to go, right? So it's really kind of obvious on the physical realm. And then on the energetic realm, you can sense it, you can feel it, and you know when things go, when things are cleaned up and you have done that space, how good it feels. I remember when I was in college, I before I would write a paper, and I was an English major, so I wrote a lot of papers. I had to clean my kitchen because my kitchen was where I had my yes, it was a typewriter. I had my typewriter set up, I had my coffee set up, and it all had to be like pristine and perfect and ready to go before I would allow my creative juices to go. It was a very necessary part of my process. And I remember one of my teachers said I was procrastinating. I'm like, no, you just don't understand. This is real. We need to have a process. We need to create the space so that we can energetically channel and receive the guidance, the information, the inspiration, the physical things, all of it. It all matters. So go ahead and chat in the box and let me know how you did with your feng shui exercise, if you did it and if it makes sense. And of course, if you have any questions about that. And then also yesterday, I asked you to create a one-liner, a mantra, or an affirmation that can help shift your energy when anxiety rises, for example, or you're doubting yourself, or you feel overwhelmed, or something's coming up and you can sense, uh-oh, danger, Mr. Robinson, danger. We can sense that. And instead of succumbing to it or being overwhelmed by it or frozen by it, we can get ahead of it with an affirmation, with a mantra. And I shared mine being all my needs are met and then some. All my needs are met and then some. When I get into that scarcity thinking and that scarcity mentality that has a tendency to scare a lot of people, right? So when we have these affirmations, we can get ahead of it. I would love for you to share yours in the chat with us if you're inclined to share. All right. So while you're doing that, hopefully you took the receptivity quiz. I would love to know where you landed with that. It's more surprising than we think when we think of our receptivity, because we all think that we're good at it or that we're healthy. But a lot of times, and I know most of you can relate to this, we're in our head so much that we're missing the opportunities that are coming our way. We're in our head so much trying to figure it out, trying to white knuckle it, trying to do the pros and cons, do the, just the figuring out part that is an energetic push. It is, so if you look at ourselves as being receptive and transmitters. So this human body of ours, pretty amazing. We do both. Okay. So with somebody mentioned that with a feng shui, it's a big task, and big task to start. We'll do it. I want you to just do one little place, one little thing. Don't overwhelm yourself. You don't need to feng shui your entire home. Just that maybe where you sit and read, where you do your bills, where you kind of have that place where you concentrate, where you journal, maybe at your desk. So it doesn't have to be a big, 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 all-encompassing feng shui activity. Start small. I want you to have an immediate success in this, even if it's a drawer, even if it's your closet. That might be too big for some people. But yeah, start really small and just knock it out, because once you knock that out, you'll see the success, you'll feel the energetic shift, and then you'll be inspired perhaps to do more, but don't overwhelm yourself, because that too is a blockage. We'll talk about that. The mantra that you shared is, I lovingly trust the mystery. Yes, that's the sweet spot. I do too. I totally trust the mystery. I trust the mystery more than anything else. I know that that mystery is full of really good stuff that we just don't know yet, but we will become aware of it soon enough in divine timing, which is another universal law that I'm also obsessed with, right? So going back to, thank you for sharing, by the way, and keep sharing. I love it. And I'm happy to share what you share with others. All right. So the manifesting part or the receiving part, let's dive into that receptivity. So you might be asking, well, what do I need to be receptive about? And I have two things in the manifestation process that we need to be receptive with. And the first one is the obvious physical manifestation itself. The thing, the person, the relationship, the job, the house, the healed body, so we see the physical manifestations, we feel the physical manifestations. So obviously we need to be open and receptive for that process to happen. But the other thing is, and we don't talk about this a lot in the mainstream manifesting world, but it is being receptive to the inner guidance that you will receive for the steps or the actions that you need to take. Because we're not just sitting around waiting for our manifestations necessarily to fall out of the sky. I don't think that's the definition of being a responsible adult, right? I believe that it's a collaboration and that we need to be doing our part and the universe follows and then takes over. I mean, boom, once we open that door, that's an action. Once we ask, that's an action. Once we get into alignment, that's also an action. So there's action on our part that is required for this process to work. It's a dance with the universe. It's not putting an order into the universe and saying, here, go. I'm waiting. It's not like that. It's more of I put my order in, thank you. And now I'm waiting for guidance for the next steps. What shall you have me do? What is in my best interest? What are the next best steps for me that are in alignment with the things that I'm wanting? And they're going to be different for every person. Some of those steps are kind of obvious and we all kind of know them, but the majority of the steps are going to be very specific to you. And that's why in my teaching, which is very different from a lot of people, I leverage intuition more than anything else. I leverage intuition to help us get that guidance because our intuition is the direct line to source, to information, to our high self, to our spirit guides, it's obvious we have guides and helpers, right? It's the direct line. So then we can take aligned action according to us, not according to Google, not according to the hot diet that's happening at the moment. So when we can tune in and dial in and leverage our intuition, we're going to get divine right action. We're going to get what we need specifically. And so when we're in the group, we're going to be doing a lot of that. Today, I just need to touch on it and let you know that it is a vital piece of the pie. And when you leverage your intuition and use that in the manifesting process, you are manifesting at a level of brilliance. You're manifesting at a level of uniqueness. You're not just manifesting the same old stuff, the same old way everybody else does. You're doing it according to the things that you really, really want and desire. And that's why it sticks, because it is unique to you. If you have a goal or an ambition, a dream or desire that is not, it sounds good because everybody else is doing it, and then you get that information that everybody else is doing, it's not going to stick. What's going to stick and what's going to work is the stuff that you have buy-in, the stuff that you really desire, and the steps that makes sense to you, that makes sense to your spirit. I'll give you an example. I had, and I still have, the dream and desire and goal to get into the best shape of my life this year. And what did I do out of panic and fear? I hired a personal coach. And I just kind of gave all my personal power away with that. I thought, that's good. She knows what she's doing. She's going to help me. But then I started to eat the food that she recommended, and my intuition just said, ugh, I can't do this. I can't eat all day. This is not right for me. And I quit. And then, of course, then I'm a quitter, but it's like, no, I'm in alignment with myself. And I know that that wasn't correct for me, and no apologies. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to include this in the teachings that I do, lesson learned. That's why I talk about the intuition so much. And now I have explored and continue to explore intuitive eating and eating what is correct for our own bodies. And it's the same thing with you, with manifesting anything. It's intuitive, fill in the blank, intuitive business, intuitive health, intuitive healing. It's all based on your intuition, not somebody else's guide, unless your intuition brought you to them. Unless your intuition guided you to that thing. And we explore a lot of that. Like, what's the difference between intuition and information, for example? We're not going to talk about that here because we have a lot to discuss with regards to allowing. Okay, so here's another mantra or affirmation. I am so happy and grateful now that I eat healthy food because now I feel better. Yes, feeling better is everything. So if you're doing an action, you're doing something that is counterintuitive to you, you're not going to feel good. And when you don't feel good, you manifest crap. I'm just going to put it out there. The bottom line is to do the things that make you feel good so that you can manifest well. And we know the difference from feeling good and kind of lying to ourselves about feeling good. We know when we feel good. And so trusting that. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic on intuition. We'll get into that day 4 tomorrow, way more in depth. So going back to the allowing part, I want to talk about some of the very common blockages that we all do. And now that you're playing in this arena of manifesting intentionally, this is all about awareness. And so when we can be aware of our actions and our habits, we can shift them, we can change them, we talked about being the director of your movie. We can say cut, and then redo, action, and start over. We can shift it on a dime. We are not victims of anything. We're not victims of our past. We're not victims of our old habits. We are powerful in that we can shift out of whatever it is that we want, but it starts all with awareness, right? So let's talk about the blockages that we all have done, and that maybe they continue, and maybe they will continue. But as we progress in this, we will be able to get ahead of it and shift, change the momentum, stop the momentum, and shift the energy in a more healthy place that we're wanting, right? So when we talk about blockages, we're not here to punish ourselves. We're not here to berate ourselves. We're here to embrace our humanity and know that we have cultural biases, and we have trainings, and we have wired brains, and we have all kinds of things to take into consideration as we do this work. So now with awareness, we can go, okay, yeah, my brain was wired like that. My dad used to say that all the time. Money doesn't grow on trees, whatever. And it's like, all right, well, I'm going to change that. And so then we start to really be the main directors of our lives. So let's talk about the blockages. The first ones are those inner, I want to call it baggage. the emotional baggage that we have and carry. Those are huge, right? And during the 90 days of continued practice in this, we are going to heal those blockages. We are going to pull them up and we are going to look at them. We're going to see how they served us and how they don't anymore, and we're going to release them. But a lot of those emotional blockages have to do with blame, resentment, judgment, looking to be offended. Oh my gosh. And our society and culture is so guilty of that right now. We have, and I've stepped in it a few times, and it's a fear response, to be right and other people be wrong. And when we are in that place of blame, judgment, resentment, looking to be offended, and carrying our baggage of pain from the past into our present, into our current situation, what we're doing is we are taking a lot of our energy to do it, to hold it, and to push it out. So I said we're transmitters and we're receivers. Our bodies are wired to receive and send. And so when we're busy pushing all that out, and look at my wounds, and look at my pain, and look at my resentments, and look at my divisiveness, and look at my addictions, and look at my this, and look at my that. We're so busy pushing all of that crap out that we have no place to put anything. We are not receptive. We are completely blocked because we're in our own drama, pushing it out and sharing it and retelling the stories and re-traumatizing ourselves. And we're so busy energetically transmitting that stuff. It's like putting a wall. See the wall that I'm building? Nothing can come through. Nothing. So during becoming a magical manifester requires a lot of personal health and well-being and healing, the healing of the wounds and the transmutation of those pains. We all have them. I'm not dismissive of them. I have them too. We all do. But the bottom line question is, are you going to allow them to dictate your future? Or are you going to get ahead of them and shift them and change them? Embrace them, love them, know they served a purpose at one point, but do they still? I doubt it. Maybe they did, but we are just clingers on of those things. And so big part of this 90-day Manifest 2022 is going to be to finally heal that stuff so that you can be open and receptive, and you can just be this clear channel to receive whatever it is you're wanting. And guess what? The side effect of that is that you feel great. You feel great. And I do believe that that is the fountain of youth as well. Another side effect. If you look at people who are free of all that stuff, they don't carry it around, they're not hoarders, they're not hoarders of emotional baggage, they look younger. They've got more spunk, they've got some swagger, right? So I want us all to get there so that we can just be healthy and we can be really well and we can have a longer lifespan and just feel good and be childlike in our ways and are using our imagination and all the things that work in our favor, instead of doing this very tired common thing called adulting that sucks the life right out of you, right? I mean, we have to do some adulting. We have to pay our bills. We have to do those things. Those are tasks. Whoop-dee. We all do them. That's fine. We got that. Not a problem. But the adulting part that I'm talking about that we can address and reduce is carrying our baggage around with us. I think that that is insane. I don't get it. And I know it doesn't serve us. I know it is counterproductive and it keeps us so stuck. And I don't want to be stuck. I mean, on occasion, we're going to be stuck. We're going to have situations that make us stop and pause and go, huh. And then we get to decide what we're going to do with it. That's where our power comes in. We are not slaves to anything that has happened to us in the past, ever. And Viktor Frankl talks about that in the book that he wrote when he was in a Nazi concentration camp. And he says, well, they can torture me all day long, but they got nothing on my mind. I own that. It's mine. And so that's where I'm coming from. This is our mind and this is our life. And we can completely be the director of it and call the shots. So, all right. So that's probably, that emotional baggage is number one on the list of blockages. Now let's talk about, and that's kind of a separate situation that is very unique to every single one of us that needs to be addressed, that everybody wants to be healed and to feel better, right? So when we address that stuff, life just gets so much more graceful and easy. Then over here, I want to talk about the blockages in manifesting specifically. Okay, so these are the things that we've all done and the things that I see happen all the time. The first one I have is micromanaging. So the micromanagers, the control freaks. So we put in our desire, we address it, we speak it, we write it, we believe it, we feel it, we want it. It's a big driving force. And then we continue to, is it here yet? Is it here yet? Is it here yet? Is it here yet? Kind of thing, looking for evidence everywhere and measuring and comparing and doing all this stuff and ignoring the law of gestation, another law, the law of divine timing. There are things at play that we need to be patient about, right? That we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Kind of like that movie in Clash of the Titans. I talk about this all the time because I love it. But that one scene where the gods and the goddesses are up in wherever they are, and they have a giant chessboard, and they have the characters of the movie as the chess pieces, right? And they're moving them around. And they're, wouldn't it be funny if so? And so there's things happening behind the scenes. And I do believe that, and maybe not the gods and goddesses like that, but there are things, situations, circumstances, timing, helpers, divine guidance that are happening behind the scenes that have to happen first, right? And so one example that comes to mind is when people want a relationship and they want to attract that person who is the most ideal match for them. And he's not here yet. Where is he? Where is he? And I said, well, he's probably got work to do too. You know, he's probably got things to clean up on his end. So give it a minute. You know, let's not micromanage this. We don't know exactly what the timing is with this. But I can guarantee that as you do micromanage, you're blocking because you're not believing. And when we're out of belief and we don't believe it, we're out of alignment. Step number 2. So back to the drawing board. We got to go back to step number 2 and get realigned with the thing that we want, right? So I'm telling you, this stuff is a process, and we go through the steps back and forth, and it's okay. And it's actually pretty fun once you have this awareness of how it works. So that way you don't have to be so befuddled when you find yourself blocking. You don't have to be all freaked out that you're blocking. You go, oh, okay, I'm blocking. All right, well, what do I need to do to get unblocked, get back into alignment, and then back into allowing? Oh, and then the divine action steps. So the steps you're going to repeat often. And even on step number 1, when you're asking, you'll probably have to revise here and there, because one of the things that I do see too is we'll manifest the thing that we wanted. And then, oops, we forgot a part. And so we'll have to go back to the drawing board and put that in and just continue to revise. We are works in progress, folks. We're never done. We are always evolving. We're always going to have contrasting situations and moments. And so we roll with those things. And as we manifest magically, right? As we manifest intentionally. Okay, so micromanaging, no. And impatience goes hand in hand with micromanaging. We have the unclear ask, and I just briefly even mentioned that one, when we're not real clear. And a lot of times we're not super clear on the details because we haven't experienced it yet. We get clear when we have the situation and then a contrast comes out. And that's called the learning process, and that's fine. Like, didn't know I didn't like you know, uh I didn't know. I can't even think of an example, but I'm thinking of Goldilocks, with her porridge. It's like, I didn't even know I didn't like walnuts and raisins in my oatmeal. That's not for me, but I didn't know it before, but I only knew now because I experienced it. So I'd rather have the one with the maple syrup. Thank you. So this is all a learning curve. So why I'm saying this is because in manifesting, I really want you to be patient with yourself and be patient with the process and know that there are so many moving parts. Okay. We also talked about the vacuum law and having no space. So that's a big one. People want something, especially maybe on the physical realm, and they don't have room for it. Or the classic feng shui situation is you're wanting a relationship, a love interest, a romantic partner. And then you look at your bedroom and your bed's up against a wall. There's only one place to get in. It's all single everywhere. There's one. There is no room. So in the end, what they teach in feng shui and what I teach is the same. It's like, make room, pull your bed out from the wall, have another nightstand there, have two, not just one, create maybe clear a drawer for them, clear a shelf in the medicine cabinet. Do these, when we do these things, we're making the space and we are telling ourselves, we are preparing ourselves, and we're also telling the universe that we're ready, that we're creating the space for it. When we don't create the space, we're actually in a mode of disbelief. And whenever we're in a mode of disbelief, that's what's going to happen, folks, because your thoughts are powerful. Your thoughts they run the show. And so if you're not aligned with your beliefs, if your actions don't align with your beliefs, then there's a mismatch. So we're going to get ourselves on this matching place, right? So far, what are you guilty of? Where have you blocked yourselves? Go ahead and chat that and let me know. Another one is low self-esteem. A lot of people were low self-esteem or low expectations. They kind of go hand in hand. So a lot of us were raised to believe not to want for more. That was greedy. Don't ask for more and don't want more. Be grateful or thankful for what you've got. I was raised with that big time. And so that sabotaged me at every turn growing up. I remember I wouldn't even go to my junior high graduation at Catholic school. I didn't want to anyway, because I didn't have a dress. I wore the same dress in confirmation, in my baptism, and it was like, I am not wearing this dress for the third time, but there's no way I'm going to ask my dad for another dress because I know what he's going to say. I will get shut down. So then I just shut down. I didn't even tell anybody that I was graduating or when the graduation date was. And I was graduating second in my class with honors, right? So it's kind of a big deal, but that whole don't ask for more than you deserve or need or whatever, really, I had to do a lot of work around that. So anyway, my dad came home all in a huff because he realized that my graduation we went. I just wore my graduation gown over it and just sucked it up, and I never took it off. So nobody would see my dress underneath. Okay, 13-year-old girls, what are you going to do? What we're going to do as adults is we're going to address those limiting thoughts and beliefs. We're going to address our low self-esteem or our lack mentality or the low expectations. And we're going to do some work around realizing our place in the universe, that we are all these little God droplets of this entire cosmos of benevolence. We're part and parcel of all of it, and all of it is ours. And there's plenty to share. And so I like to say that we are trust fund babies of the universe, and there is no lack or no shortage. There is no lack and no shortage, even in the places where there are obvious lacks and shortage and all of that. It's just that things haven't been built yet, but the resources are there. They're there. We just have to tap in. We have to build. We have to believe. We have to manifest. We have to create. We have to do all this stuff. Yes, blockages equals no space. That is absolutely spot on. Okay, so we'll do a lot of work around our expectations and what we believe that we deserve and our worthiness. That's a big blockage for many people. They want the marriage, but maybe they don't believe that they can have or deserve a really healthy, vibrant one, so they settle. We've all seen that. That's what that is based in. Yay, they manifested marriage. That's cool. That's step one. But now it's time, and 50% of the population have had to go back to the drawing board and say, oh yeah, I still want marriage because I love love, but this time, and then we have to go back to the drawing board and tweak it a little bit, and then readjust ourselves to match it and restart the process. It's wash, rinse, repeat. We're never done. And then another one that I see a lot is where people limit their manifestations by the who or the how. So I have seen in my practice people, and outside of my practice, of course, people who want the marriage, but the marriage has to be with X. It has to be with that person and that person alone, because that person alone is my soulmate. But that soulmate isn't involved in the relationship. And so they want to manifest, magically bring them back. And so that's where I put my coaching in. It's like, well, wait, what do you want? What is it that you take the person out of the equation? What is it that you're really wanting? Let's go there. Let's start there. What are the feelings, the sensations, the physical parts? What are the things that you're wanting from marriage? And let's get rid of the who. And knowing that if that person is the appropriate person, they will pop back in. That's, we don't have to be in fear about that. But to obsess or get so fixed on the who or the how, complete blockage. If we get really fixed on how things can happen or how I'm going to manifest that house, of course, we have to know some of the hows, but not all of the hows, because man, there is magic happening behind the scenes. You've seen people who say, well, I can't, own a house because I don't have the money. And then, oh, here comes an inheritance or something else. We don't know. So why would you limit yourself and block yourself by saying, I don't have it can't happen because I don't have the down payment. It can't happen because, okay, the universe says, okay, fine. You don't want it? We'll give it to somebody else, So getting out of our head with the who and the how and all of that stuff it creates the space again. So we're all about creating the space so that we can channel, so that we can receive. And if we're busy pushing out our own agendas, we're blocking, right? And especially if the conversation is negative, the conversation is limited. That is a definite manifestation kill right there. Okay, so, and I just want to briefly say that if all of us know the difference in our bodies Maybe we're not completely aware of it. So this is why I want to bring it to your attention. The feeling that you have when you are receptive versus when you're transmitting, versus when you are sending energy or pushing your energy. There's a big difference. When we're pushing our energy, we don't even see what's going on around us. But when we're in a receptive mode, we sense and we can see everything that's happening around us. We're out of our heads more. We're enjoying things more. We're seeing nature more. We're just able to take it all in more. And when we can take it in, that's when we receive our manifestations, right? Makes sense? All right. I hope this is making sense to you guys. All righty. So I told you that I wanted to talk about the number one remedy, the number one tool, the number one resource thing you can do, activity, exercise to open up and activate your receptivity or your receptive mode. Any guesses as to what that is? Because it's available to all of us at any time. I'm going to see if anybody can guess. But it is gratitude. There you have it. Gratitude. When we are in gratitude, we are in a state that is in a constant state of receiving. Because imagine yourself in gratitude. You're like, oh, I'm so grateful for that light. Oh, I'm so grateful for that bookshelf. Oh, I'm so grateful for my plant. I'm so grateful for my live streaming platform. I'm so grateful for, I'm just in this place of saying yes, 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 yes. So when we're in a state of saying yes in gratitude, our hearts open, our receptivity opens, we just become these clear channels. So I'm going to take you on a little quiz and test and see just how receptive you are. And then, of course, I'm going to give you a journal activity to end the deal, the session. So, how grateful are you? I want to talk about the 5 levels of gratitude that I learned from my spiritual / business mentor, James Wedmore. And this is taken from his 12 Days of Abundance. And it's so spot on. So, how grateful are you? Let's look at the scale. All right. So be soft with this. This isn't a time to judge or to berate or anything like that. It's a time to improve. It's a time to be aware, and it's just a time to check ourselves and to say, oh, okay, yeah, alrighty. Well, that can be one of my goals, is to be more in a state of gratitude, because that really feels good and it really serves me and it puts me in a higher vibration, and it changes the energy around you. You know, that you step out of the common daily curmudgeon-y energy, whatever you want to call it. And then you bring the light, you bring the sauce, you bring the party by just being in a place of gratitude. You extend your life. You look better. There's a zillion reasons to stay in gratitude. Manifesting, though, it's hand in hand with manifesting. So let's test your 5 levels. We're going to start with number 1. And so the levels go from 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. And just check and see where you are. So number 1 is that you're just not grateful. Excuse me. You're feeling entitled and critical, unhappy, offended with everything, and nothing works and nothing's good and blah. I'm sure if you're here, you're not at number 1, I can guarantee. Number 2, you have certain things that you're grateful for. So like if I said, write 3 things down, you probably could, but you have to kind of think about it, right? So you know how to muster up gratitude. You know how to kind of shift yourself there, but it's very temporary. So that's number 2. Number 3, you appreciate the good and the good stuff that's not visible yet. You can appreciate the good, and then you know that there's more coming. So that's a healthy place to be. That's a very healthy place to be, number 3. And number 4 is that you're grateful for even the bad stuff. You're grateful for the good stuff that's coming, the invisible stuff that you can't see, like number 3. And then you're also just really grateful for the problems, the trials, the challenges, because you know that they serve you and you know that they are leading you to a better place, a more evolved place, a healthier place. So sometimes when we hit our knees, it's kind of a necessary part of the process, and we don't judge it, berate it. We go, oh, yeah, I'm glad that's over, but wow, I wouldn't be the person I am today without that. That really served me. That really grew me. That really evolved and made me a better person. And number 5, wrap your head around this. You no longer see problems. You don't see the challenge. You choose to see that everything happens for you, not against you. That there is no challenge, and that you're grateful for every single bit of it. You're grateful for every single bit of it. Okay. So number 4 is you're kind of there, but you still see it as bad, challenge. We still have the labels. And number 5 is they're not even problems. So I'm somewhere in between 4 and 5. I fluctuate and bounce back and forth, right? When things are good, I'm at 5. When things get challenging, I'm at 4. There goes my humanity, right? Okay, so where did you guys go? Where are you on the scale? I know you're not 1. I would say majority of people are probably between, we bounce around 3, 4, and 5, I would say, for the average, the normal. Is there normal? I shouldn't use that word. No normals. All right. My community is going to be around 3, 4, and 5. Very consistently. I can guarantee that. Okay, so what I would want, okay, we got a 3 to 4. That's awesome. It's a beautiful place to be. And then we can, now when we know that we're in 3 and 4s, we can anticipate those problems and not be sideswiped by them and see them immediately as a lesson, as a good thing. I don't even know if I can do that. We'll see the next time. We'll put it to the test. I do believe that everything does happen for the betterment, but do I not get tripped up in it? Oh, yes, I do. I still have the emotional response. I still feel like this is bad. I still feel like, oh my gosh, this is really hard. And I think that that's always going to be the situation. I'll have to check with James to see how he explains that. Because I think we can be in 5 and know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but still feel very much in pain, right? And just dreading things. So, because we are human. So, good on you for being at 3 and 4. Alrighty, so for your homework, I want you to write in your journals, and you can do this on your own, but it's going to be like a gratitude list, right? So I want you to start your journal prompt, and I'll write this in the group as well, is I'm grateful for these people, places, and circumstances. I'm grateful for these people, places, circumstances, and things. So they can be physical things too, in my life right now. I'm grateful for these people, places, circumstances, and things in my life right now. Because when we start this manifesting process, we're going to start off on the right foot. We're going to start in gratitude, right? And we're going to start in a really positive, proactive place of keeping our energy high, keeping our vibrations high, and knowing that there's just magic to be had. There's just a lot of magic to be had. When we get into this manifesting process, not only are we manifesting situations in our lives that we want and that will improve our circumstances, but we are becoming better people. We are becoming better people. We're becoming healthier people. We're becoming spiritually evolved. And then as we do that, we become helpful to others around us. So there's the little jab side effect that I got going on. That's my magic. That's my mojo. That's the secret sauce here. And then the manifestations themselves are the prizes. They're the prizes. It's all good. It all works. So do your journal exercise. I'll see you in the Facebook group. And then, of course, I have to invite you over to the Enchanted Empath community, and it's at enchantedempath.com. And then tomorrow we're going to continue the conversation with day 4. And day 4 is about aligned action and leveraging intuition. And then that's going to kick off the 90 days of coaching and community and learning all these other things that we talked about and practicing, putting all this stuff into practice and being accountability partners for each other and being the biggest support system ever. And moving forward, everything will be on Zoom. So everything will be highly interactive in our private group, not on Facebook, so that we have a safe, heart-centered, gentle place to work with people who are like-spirited, like-minded, and we'll really get some inner work done. We'll really do some powerful manifesting in there. So I hope to see you over there. You can start your free trial and give it a shot. And again, we have Wednesday workshops every Wednesday at 6. For the next 90 days will be all based on the tools, technologies, and everything we talked about these last 3 days in greater detail every Wednesday night for 90 days. And if you don't manifest the life of your dreams in 3 months, or at least have some huge momentum going on, then we need to talk. But I know that you will. I know that you will, because you will have consistent practice and you will have consistent support in doing all this. So, and then on Mondays, we have our Monday meditations. And then if I feel like it, I'll just do some more impromptu stuff. And then we have little mini readings. We have moon rituals. We have all kinds of fun stuff that are extra. And too, I wanted to share that all of the members of the community always get 50% off their private sessions with me, because I know that there's the group and then we also need our private time. And so all of my members get half off. And that's just one of the added bonuses and perks. There's more, but look into that. Feel if it's a fit. Intuit if it's a fit for you or not. And then take the inspired action that is correct for you. All right, guys. So that's it for now. Let me know if you have any questions while we close out. I want to close us out with a mini meditation with receptivity and allowing and clearing. So let's clear ourselves. All right. So get into a comfortable position. One of the fastest, easiest ways to clear ourselves is to breathe. Breathe in, release. Just release all the stuff of the day so far. Breathe in loving kindness. Release. Breathe in your inner brilliance. And release your self-doubt. Breathe in your magnificence. And release your stories. Those hard stories. Just release them. And for this meditation, I want to focus on our sacral chakra. And our sacral chakra is the chakra that is below the navel, in our reproductive area, our area of creation, our area of desire, our area of joy, contentment. And you can imagine an orange ball of light in that area. And you can even see the orange ball like pulsating or flowing. How do you see it? Just play with it. It's there. And today we're just gonna say hello, sacral, and just allow it to open up and allow it to guide us to the things that provide us with pleasure, those things that remind us that we're alive, the art, the food, the love, the intimacy, the stuff of life, the joy, saying yes to beauty, saying yes to it all, and allowing ourselves to be in a receptive place for the rest of the day, to experience the joy, the beauty, the love, the pleasure that surrounds us, that maybe sometimes we take for granted, but today we're not. We're going to say yes to the things that feel correct for us, that bring us delight and joy. We're going to notice them more. They're already here, and we're allowing even more. So let us be delighted and surprised today. Open up to that and say, yes, thank you. And so it is. All right, nice and short, easy peasy. And I have a message saying, hey, Charlene, is there any coaching you're going to be giving about my intention in 2022? Yes, that's going to actually be in the next phase where we go into the action. And I'm actually going to, when I have my group, when I have my solid group of 90 days in my community, we're going to look at your intentions, and we're going to look at your goals and your desires and break them down even more so. And in there, I'll give some personal coaching on phrasing and words and all of that. So if you don't join the membership, if you don't join the community, then what I will tell you is this: make sure they're in the affirmative, make sure they're in, write them in present tense, make sure that they are measurable, measurable goals that you can keep track of, and make sure that they're realistic to you and that they feel right to you. All right. But most definitely in the 90 days coming, we are going to address all of that. We're going to get very specific. So I hope you join. Again, it's only $39 a month. Nowhere else can you get this level of training for $39. Nowhere. I had a hard time actually accepting that at first. And then it was like, but wait, it makes it more accessible to a lot more people. And that's my goal. So go in there and check it out. And I will, and then if you do want private coaching, I do offer that as well. And you can find that on my website at charlenemurphy.com. So yes, yes, yes. The answer is yes, either in the group or personally. I would love to help you with refining and getting those very clear. Use that vision board, revise, journal, all of the above. Okay. So thank you all for being here. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed these 3 days on Facebook, but now I'm getting off of Facebook and I'm going in my own little bubble. So I hope to see you there until the next challenge, or just in general. I'll see you in the Facebook group on occasion, but you know where to find me. All right. So peace and blessings, you guys. Happy 2022. Manifest well, manifest like bosses. Remember your amazing inner brilliance. You've had it all along and you will always have it. Think Dorothy, click those heels. All right, I'll see you next time and I'll see you soon. Much love.